Jose, I really appreciate you coming and sitting down with me, man. I really enjoyed the music that you've made, and it's absolutely a pleasure to have you on, sir.
No, thank you again for wanting to do this, for hitting me up.
I'm gonna edit this part out. I don't like to hear this stuff. Thank you, sir. um,
No, thank you so much.
but I don't know about you quite well. But then at the end of this, I think that we're gonna be good close friends after this. That's what I think.
Yeah,
But
okay.
getting into it, man, what gravitated you towards kind of wanting to learn the drums?
Oh, damn. Um,
I'm coming out of the gate hot, Jose. I'm sorry, man.
all right, let's see. It's a story. Yeah, let me get the story collected and grouped.
Please,
Um,
please.
so I started when I was like in like high school. I was like 15. Um, my family is a lot of like very music, uh, very passionate about music. Like my mom likes to sing. My grandpa was a recording artist in Mexico. Like, my sister is like a great singer. Like she was that kid at school that like it was someone's birthday, and you'd be like, Jackie, like come over here, and she would sing happy birthday, because everybody knew that she sang great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my family, and me like um I always loved music, but I never thought I would play it because it just looked too honestly too complicating for me. Like I don't know what it is, I don't know what's going on, but I like it. And I was way more into sports. I was really into like basketball and like baseball, and at ESPN, like running on my TV all day. That was me, always like about analytics and well, the players. I was really into sports, and so high school, I had a friend, and I was in a different band in high school, and the friend was like, "Hey, we need someone to. I'm trying to start a band. I need a drummer." And he was very well versed in music. He had like family that played like Spanish stuff and like corridos and like Spanish parties. So he kind of like knew a lot about music, like all the instruments, at least a little bit about everything. He was like, "We need a drummer, and I think you could be a drummer." And I remember uh looking at the drums before, like I think that was the one instrument that I never thought I would ever play, because I didn't understand what was going on. Like guitar, I understand. Um, like singing and like everything else looks pretty like you see it and you get it. But drums to me, I was like, I don't know what's going on. There's so many
It's
pieces.
self-explanatory, and it's like, okay, like I see that that's making that noise because of
Mm-hmm.
this. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying there. It's kind of like a bit more in the back, kind of hidden. It's like, whoa, wait, well, what's going on here? How did that sound like that? I understand where you're
Yeah,
coming from with that for sure.
yeah, and I'm like using your two arms and your two legs. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And so I was like, yeah, like fuck it. If you want to teach me, like I'm down. Yeah, I'm down to that. And that was it. Like he just like slowly but surely like started playing the drums just through years and years, just like crafting and like developing it. And just I think that's like what it is today. Yeah, and I feel like I'm very happy because I feel like it was crazy. Like the first time I played drums ever, I felt so at home. I felt so natural. I've never felt that before. Yeah, even
Wow.
with guitar, like I thought with guitar, I kind of knew because I played Guitar Hero and shit. So I was like, I must have some kind of idea of a guitar. I remember getting one for like in 8th grade, middle school, and I just didn't like it. Like it didn't feel comfortable. I don't know what it was. Like something about the guitar was like I didn't feel like it was me. Like the strumming and the fingers and the plucking, I was like, so I kind of got like lost interest in it. I played it for a bit and then I went back to it. But the drums, when I got in on them, I was like, no way, like I'm just beating these things. Like like the person that I am, very like very active, very like always into sports. It just fit very, it just fit in. Like it's a very physical instrument, I guess.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah,
And
that kind of fits the narrative. It's like, okay, I'm like move. There's actually like
yeah,
movement within kind of different parts of the body, of course. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I think to me it just translated very well. Like from always like being like into sports and running and to going to the drums. It's just like it was, it was felt so weird. I felt so like natural, and I just learned it. And I think like that's probably the most proudest thing I've ever, or the thing I'm the proudest most of. Because that's
Mhm.
something that I never thought I would ever do. Like never did I think I would learn how to play the drums. Like have any concept of what the drums are. Like and like over time, I think that's something that I always go back to. It's something that like I thought I could never I thought I would never do, or I wasn't capable of doing, but I did it. And I always have that in the back of my mind, whenever I have like doubts. What was it? You thought you never be able to play drums ever, and you did that, So this next challenge, is also possible.
Sure, sure. Man, that's killer. So so around like 15 was when you started getting into it?
Yeah, I was like 15.
Wow. So how long was that first kind of band that you were recruited to play the drums in?
It's funny because so that band, they're called the Four Chords. I was in with the band, and I was just a drummer in the band. So this is interesting too. Like every band I've been in, except for this one with Henry, the Red Pears, I was always just the drummer. Like everything was very like done. Like they had this this done, and this is a song. Just play drums. And with Henry, it's like us creating the song. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just playing drums. I'm like, and I never really saw myself as a drummer or as a musician. I don't really. I think I'm okay at drums. I don't think I'm the greatest drummer, but I think I do kind of take pride in my musicianship and the attention that I put into the music and as a whole, not just the drums. So I think I always think of myself as I'm an okay drummer, but I think I'm a good musician. I worked on that a lot. And
which is crucial as well to be interested in kind of proficient within music. That's a very
yeah. But I never had the chance, like with so that first band I was like just a drummer, and then like so it was high school, and Henry had a different band. They were called Excessum. That's how I met Henry to like the bands of the school, and like the other we all knew each other.
Sure you're gonna come across each other at some point, especially at the same school. I mean even if you went to different school around you, that's still you're still gonna cross paths at some point. Sure.
So then we had a battle of the bands at the high school. So it was like my band, Henry's band, and like other bands, and I remember like our band, the band I was in, ended up winning the fucking thing, the battle of the bands. And, I remember I was so happy, dude. I know it doesn't really mean much, but that was like the first time like in music that I ever like, I think honestly like growing up too, I never had like that kind of like acceptance in things. I grew up very like a loner in the sort, and very like outcasted, and very like always like feeling misunderstood, and especially like when I was playing sports and just being like, okay, I have this like in my head, but like everyone's doing their own thing. So always having like a plan and a vision, but like I think people couldn't see it, and so I always feel like left out, and I have this idea, but nobody like understands. Sure. Or no one can see it. No one can see it. So that was like the first time I ever like was involved in something or was doing something and saw like the success of like the hard work, like the
fruits of the labor.
Like
sure.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And like like finally some I won. I'm winning at this. I'm doing well. Finally like I'm like putting myself in this, and like I see that it's like I see the results, and they're good results. Like I'm getting an opportunity now. So, but I always liked Henry, like way, like I remember. So his band came into my garage. So I live here at home. I'm in my room right now. This is my room.
It looks good, man. I like it.
My parents run a daycare. I don't know if you hear the kids crying right now, but
no.
Cool. So this is a daycare, and the garage we have, like my dad made it, and like I took it over and had my drums. The music's all set up in the garage now. So I was rehearsing with the band in high school, and the guy invites Henry like another friend over. And I remember I was upset, because I was very like I'm very like tight and I'm still very straight with things. I'm like, no, we're practicing. Like no one can come over. I want to focus. So they came over, and like Henry and his friend from the band played a song, and I heard him sing, and I was like, fuck, like no way, like I didn't like the voice of the singer that we had, and I think to me like the voice has always been the most important thing in music. I think it's like the voice and like lyrics to me, because I feel like music to me is very poetic, that comes first to me. Like the first thing that always like that really catches my attention is the voice and the words that are being spoken, you know. And he was this guy, you know, and he was like he has that like what I like a really nice voice, and I'm listening to the words he's singing, and I'm relating to them, you know, as he's saying them, and I'm like, oh shit, like I need to do music with this guy, yeah. That's honestly how I found, like I need to fucking like I need to be in a band with him, because you know, because I kind of vision it. I'm like, dude, like I could do this to that song, or oh, I could do like this, and I could play drums here. And, oh, he's doing this, I'm gonna do this. You know, kind of like playing it out in my head, being like, fuck, that would be so good if we could do that. And I remember like I think I hit him up on Facebook, Henry, and I was like, hey, dude, nice meeting you. You want to start a band? like a side band, I guess, you know, I guess from the bands we had. And he was like, yeah, I'm done. And that's how me and Henry started the band, from that battle of the bands and that. Yeah. So I ended up leaving my band, and he left his band, and also we had a different band after, this other band with two other guys, but they weren't as like, I mean, they were as they weren't really as dedicated as me and Henry were. Like good friends, you know, but I think that like we had different like plans and visions. Henry and I, you know, always looked far ahead, like, or just never thought shit was impossible, you know. I always talking about, oh, it'd be cool to tour, like sending each other videos of like festivals or bands playing, and be like, dude, look at this. I'm like, oh, it's so cool. So always sharing like that, like that admiration and passion for music, and wanting to do like so much with it, you know. So then after that band, I think we played at my battle of the bands again. Like that was my last year, but we didn't win, and it was like I was the only one from the school there, you know. So they kind of, I think they didn't let us win because, or like some shit. There was some shit that went down because like I remember like it was like we technically weren't supposed to play because they had a rule of like at least 2 members have to be part of the school. So it was some rule that we didn't like follow, but they let us play. So then I left to college after for a year, and I'm in a band over there, with two other guys. I mean, we played for a little bit, but I was always like on the search, you know. I was always like, I need to do music, I need to do something, you know. And I like thought I would find this. I went to school in SF State, San Francisco, so I thought I would find music over there, you know. I'm like, I'll have to be a band and this and this. And so I couldn't find anything. And I remember I'd go on Craigslist, dude. I'd fucking go on Craigslist and like with like random, you know, like look up like someone's influences and shit, and then go meet up with them like somewhere, like have like a talk and like be like, oh, never mind, I'm not gonna, you know. Or sometimes there'd be like a jam session like with the band, and you know, like so I would just meet up with strangers and like see what I liked. You know, I was so desperate, and I fucking I hung like little like flyers around the whole campus with my email. And like, my name is Jose, and I play drums, and these are my influences, the bands I like. And I'm like, if you're interested, you know, like email me. And like, you know, I think one person emailed me back, and we never did anything, or 2 people did. But yeah, like, you know, just always like always going for it, you know, always doing like what I could. And then so I came back after. I think Henry and I were talking. We were always like cool, and we were like, dude, maybe you should just start another band, just me and you. Like, fuck it, you know, like, because we can't find other people around us that like that want to do it as badly as us, and they have the influences and have this connection me and you have, that we have. You know, like I don't see it in anybody else. You know, if it's just us, like fuck it, it's just me and you. And that's how we started like the Red Pears. You know, it was just me and him, like, you know, because I feel like we couldn't find anything else to do or anybody else. So, like, it was just us two, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and so what was the time duration of you leaving and trying to find another band up in San Francisco to coming back and being like, all right, let's do something together?
1 year, like one school year, yeah. Like basically like came back here in the summer. We started the band in the summer, like June, July, Henry and I. And I have a story that he always brings up. So see, I was very uptight, more so than I am today. You know, I think I could be uptight and stuff, but I think I'm just very passionate. I get very passionate about things, you know, and I get very, I get very emotional and very sensitive. So Henry was working a graveyard shift, so he worked from like 11 p.m. to like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Right? So he fucking like would work, come home, sleep, wake up like at 5, 6, and you know, get ready and go do it again. Yeah, so we were rehearsing at the time, and so there were times where he wouldn't wake up or wake up late, and I'd be like, "Fuck, how are we gonna fucking like do shit? We can't even rehearse." Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were trying to like find people also like to fit in the band. So there was some girl like on Craigslist and like playing bass. And I remember like I didn't have a car. I didn't drive, and Henry, we're gonna go meet up with this girl at like a Starbucks, and we have like a you know like interview, I guess, or something.
Just going back to Craigslist. You're like, you know what? I'm not in the I'm not in like whatever the county is up there. You're like, no, I'm not let's try it down a little bit more south.
I think because Henry too. Henry was like, yeah, Craigslist. Yeah. Like, Henry had experiences on Craigslist too. Like, yeah, Craigslist. Yeah, we'll find someone on Craigslist. So then, we have like we'll see her at 5, and it's getting to 5, and I'm calling Henry, he's not answering and shit, and I'm like, fuck, you know, where's Henry? And I'm like, fuck it. So I think I have my sister and my dad to drop me off, or something like that. And then I talk with the girl. I think Henry wakes up in the middle of it. I'm like talking to her, and I think he gives me a ride back home or something because he wakes up, and he was like, "How to go this and this." I was looking mad, you know. I was like, you know, and I think after that, I was like, you know, Henry, like, I don't be this down with you anymore. This and this. So we kind of broke up, Henry and I. And so, and I think I remember telling my mom and telling the girl I was dating at the time, and telling people, you know, and they were just like, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you should be more patient and more understanding. And I was like, oh, you know, like, I'm like, yeah, but you know, like he's always late, this and this, you know. And so then, you know, and then so then I got the on. I tried looking again for bands, you know, just like like on Facebook and da 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 da. And like I didn't find anything. And then I was thinking about the songs Henry and I were working on. He'd be like, hey, let's check out this song, or have this song that I've been working on, and you know, and then he showed it to me, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna do this to it, and like I never like had that connection. I remember being so like excited, dude. Whenever I hear those songs, like the first songs we made, just being like, fuck yeah, you know, this is so fucking cool. And like Henry was cool with me with my ideas. It wasn't just like, hey, have this song like this, just play along to it. It was like, what do you think about this and this? Or I have this part in mind. What do you think? I'm like, dude, what if we do this and this? You know? So it was like the two of us bouncing back from one another. And I never had that. It was always like, the song is done. You need to like play drums, you know? So it was me and him like structuring and crafting it. And he was like, you know, ideas he's had for like years, you know, or like that he just made up on the spot or something, you know? So the two of us like piecing this together instead of him just being like, hey, this is done. I want you to play drums. I think a drummer, you know? And so then I always like think about those times and those songs. I was singing along to them. I was like, you know, honestly, like I'm a big fan of our music, you know. I'm a fan of our music, you know, to be honest.
That's good. Like, you should be. You shouldn't like not like the music that you're playing.
You know, but you'd be surprised. I mean, I met people who are like write for whatever art they have, and they're like, yeah, it's whatever. You know, and to me, I could never like create something and feel whatever about it. You know, like I don't know. I'm just a person that I can't be like okay with a passion. You know, I'm very extreme. I'm either like all in or all out. You know, so I was never like, this has to be like I have to really like this. It can't just be okay. You know, I have to like, you know,
be fully in, like, yeah, and be passionate about it. Sure.
Yeah, you know, like that's a requirement. You know, and I'm telling him too, like Henry, like whatever you do, like, you know, I won't tell you what to do, but just I want you to. The only thing I ask for you is like to have it come from your heart. You know, that's all that I ask for. You know, just that you're very serious about what you're creating and what you're crafting, you know, because I'll be, you know, very coming from my heart, so I want it to come from yours too. That's the only thing I'll ask of you, you know. And so then I would always go back to the songs and just like, oh, you know, like, or I had them recorded, listen to them and being like, that's so good, that's so fucking cool. And time had passed, and I was like, I think I was being too irrational, you know, and I was being too much of a dick. And so I was like, hey, I think Henry was gonna come pick up his stuff. Because his stuff was still here, like his amp and stuff. And he was going to play with like another friend that played drums. And I think he wouldn't go play with them. And I was like, Henry, like, I'm sorry. I'm like, you know, I've been thinking about it and like this and this. And like, you know, like, we should do this again. I'm sorry I wasn't impatient and stuff. And he was like, it's all right. You know? And then, so I was like, yeah, like, I was looking for music too. But he's like telling me I couldn't find anybody that also like had this connection I have with you. You know, I play with other people or alone, and I was like, you know, there's no other like person that plays like you. And I was like, dude, me too. I couldn't find anybody. You know, I'm like, it has to be you. You know? There's no other person that fits with Henry. You know, like creatively and as a friend, we would hang out like all the fucking time. And, like, you know, just me and him rehearsing and go eat. You know, and he go to work. You know, that was all we would do. And yeah, he was like, yeah, you know, he was the coolest. So after that, like, I think I started finding ways to wake him up. He would be like, yeah, it's cool, you wake me up, but what I have to do, like call my mom or whatever, you know. So I had like his mom's phone number, and I'd be like, hey, I'm outside Henry's house, like, can you wake him up? Or like, I'd fucking go to his house, and like, or like around his house. There's like an apartment building. I'd go around the fucking house, and the neighbor had like chickens and like dogs and like goats. So I'm walking, and you hear all the animals start acting up, you know, because of the fuss I'm making. So you hear all these like fucking like farm right next to Henry's house, next to his place. And then I get a rock from the floor and throw it to his window. Throw a window. I'm like, Henry! Fucking scream loud. Henry! And all the dogs start barking, you know, and everybody fucking, all the animals arced up. And I just get a phone call, and he's like, hey, I'm up. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm outside.
He goes, yeah, clearly, I can hear you. I can hear all the ruckus that you're making outside. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you what to do it, you know, like whenever we'd rehearse and he was still asleep, I'd go wake him up. And he's like, yeah, I don't mind, you know, like do what I have to do, you know? Because he was really passionate about it. You know? I understand that like he had this job and he needed to support his family, you know, but he was still very like down to like to make it happen, you know, even if it meant he lost sleep or lost, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, what year is this around that you guys are kind of starting to form the band?
2014, 14, 15, yeah.
14, 15.
I think the 2014 was like the summer like on was like us rehearsing and getting things together, and like we played like 1 or 2 shows, 3 shows that year. And 2015 was like when we released like we put it online and like started playing more shows. So like half a year of like getting things like together, you know, like the songs and like 2015 and now we were like started just playing and releasing music. Yeah.
Sure. Where did the name come from, the Red Pears?
So, that's the hardest shit to do, man. To come up with the fucking band. It's not stay with you forever.
Sure.
So, I think since we were like a 2-piece, you know, we had like very similar like music influences. We were like, oh, like the only 2-piece bands, you know, like all the cool 2-piece bands have like a color in them, like the Black Keys, the White Stripes. Yeah, just those 2 bands. But you know, man, our band should have a color in it. You know, like yeah, and I think our favorite color was just red. You know, like we both like the color red. And I think he was like, yeah, what about like a play on the word pear? Yeah, because we're like there were just 2 people and like a pear and the fruit of pear. You know, the red pear or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And he's like, yeah, you know, I don't think it's any like red pears that exist anyways. You know, I'm like, yeah, huh? We'll be like the Red Pears, like they don't exist but us kind of thing. You know, like we thought we were being like clever. Oh, that's cool, yeah. And I think he had like a book. There's some little dictionary, and he had like I don't know what it was, but like, and there was like a fucking page of like 2 pears that were like red. So he was like, oh, it has to be this, you know. And I was like, what the fuck? That's so cool, dude. And so we set on that name, you know? And yeah, that's how we.
It's a good name. It's not a bad name at all. Where were you guys playing your first shows? You're in the earliest kind of days, 2014, 2015 days.
So the first show we ever had was a open mic at a church, like 2014. Like a friend of ours, like a coworker of Henry's, you know, was very supportive and was very like, oh, at this church they open mic, you should go play. So we want to go play at I remember we fucking went late because Henry woke up late. So we ended up being late and took almost over, you know. We were with their shit. And her friend said, oh, this is the band I was telling you about, you know. Yeah, they can play. So we set up and like we played like 3 songs that we had. And then like people like were really, really respectful and very nice. And people like ask for our autograph, like this and this, and oh, you guys are gonna be, you know, big one day. And that was a really like a really crazy a thing because just weird. It's never ever having done anything. I think me or him never like having that kind of like it's like
reception.
adulation. Yeah, like reception, like, and you're just kind of like, sure, I guess they will sign, you know. And I remember I'd take demos with me all the time, like demos and like handing them out. So we're signing like the demos and stuff, and yeah, and that was like the first show we ever did together. And after that, I think we did like, I forgot what we did after that. Like we did some more local stuff, like our friends, my friends having like a thing or a gathering, and yeah. And after that, we started playing like 2015 was like a lot of house shows that we would find. Oh, to this band that we met this girl at the church who was like into the scene. She was from Azusa, so like rented in the backyard scene. It was very different like back then. And she knew this band called the Pedestrians. And she's like, "Well, they play house shows. You guys should like link up and you have similar music, you know." And so our second show was at a coffee shop. Then a friend of mine, he's like the owner, and he like we just played like us and the Pedestrians. And then after that was like house shows, like just like in the, like from like Pomona area, the IE, you know, just doing house shows and doing 2-3 shows a week or a day sometimes. Yeah,
wow.
Just like playing, just going hard, just going fucking hard, overly hard at it, you know, because you're so, excuse me, like you're so
jazzed. You're like excited to do this, yeah, and you want to get it out, and you want to start making it happen. Especially you guys with your guys' work ethic. You're like, let's do this, right? I mean, like it's time,
yeah, and just like this, like not fear, but just this like crazy drive, you know, like Henry, we got to do as much as we fucking can, you know. And he's like, yeah. And Henry was always for it. Henry was always like, you know, he's never. I think I've never met someone as crazy as me, as him. You know, something's crazier than me. You know, but I think Henry and I like are really like this brotherhood we have. You know, like sometimes we're like yin and yang, and it's very like I don't know, just a very fucking like great brother. You know, and so we played 2 shows a day at times, and he'd go to work. He would go like, you know, and we would ask if he could play early, so you go play 2 shows. Like maybe like Pomona, West Covina or something, or like Rio Alto or something. Like 2 shows, Pomona, Fontana or something. Then drop me off home, you know, and then go to work because he had like his scrubs like in the car already, or he'd be ready in his scrubs, you know, and he'd go to fucking work like right after.
Oh man,
graveyard shit. Yeah.
He was usually burning both ends of the stick, rather. You know?
Yeah, man, that's how you would do it, you know? But it just felt like there was no other way because no one else would like give us a chance, you know, like these venues aren't gonna let us play. Like there's no echo, there's no like, you know, like you don't know anything. We don't know anything about music. We never had family who did music. We don't know anything about any industry. We don't know anything about managing, anything about like, you know, like playing and getting money. You know, it's so like you're so like all you have is like music. You know, that's like all you have, and
you're learning it as you go. You guys just like, oh well, this is how this is supposed to be done, not the way that we did it, but we know it for next time. Sure.
Yeah, if basically they're making like bad mistakes and being like, oh, this is how you do it, this and that.
Yeah, just like it's all a learning experience.
Mm-hmm. But I think also us too, just very like our drive, the way we are, very competitive, like, you know, very in a good way. You know, I think competitive with like our own selves, just not being okay with not being good at something you want to be good at. You know, I know Henry like isn't okay with like doing something and then being like, I kind of don't like that. I need to like get it to how I like it, you know. And I'm the same way. So I think this is very like this fucking fire, you know, of like drive and like wanting to like be good. I wanted to be like proud of what you're doing, you know, that him and I share. That I haven't really seen in anybody else but me, really, you know. Like I'm kind of like, damn, he's like, this guy is like the same as me, or like, you know, like really seeing it and being like, he has the drive, he has the passion, he has the work ethic. He doesn't give a fuck like me, you know. So it's like, this is the guy, you know.
Yeah. Sure. And it was still a 2-piece in these early days. It was just you and him.
So we had a friend Juan, who we knew in high school, and I was with him in the first band I had in high school. And then I sat next to him for like a class in community college here at Rio Hondo nearby. And I remember he'd be like, "Oh, you think you guys are good, and this and that." He's like, you guys should could use a bass player, this and this. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know him, and this and that. And I kind of know him already. And like, Andrew, I'll just give him a chance. So then he joined the band. I mean, we were a 3-piece. Until we started being a 3-piece. That was 2015, I think, or late 2014 maybe. And it was Juan, us three and Juan, But I think we had different plans. I think Juan had different pressures from his life, And I think he had different priorities of like school, making sure like money is like stable, like different. And we were like, we're gonna go tour this and this, And Henry and I were a lot more like, fuck it, like we're gonna this is it or it's nothing, And I think Juan had like backup plans like set up or just in case this and this. Because even when like things came to happen, he was a bit more hesitant. As me and Henry were like, there's no fucking question, we're doing it, So I think we just came at a crossroads, We're still very good friends with them, but we're just like, we have these visions and plans, and he kind of was a bit more hesitant. And well, you can't be hesitant, like to do these things. So he left the band, and our friend Patrick, that's still with us, Patrick. We met him for like house shows. He was like fucking 16, like he was young. When we met him, like just at house shows, and he was very like passionate, like going up to Henry, like Henry, like is this how you play this song, like this and this, like he's a very like also like really passionate about music. So I think Henry knew his brother or something like that, and so his brother would take Patrick with him to the shows, and through the brother we met Patrick, and that's how we were just like we would hang out, like go to play the show, then go hang out with them, we'll get some food, like so the five of us would hang out, or if 1-2 would hang out and shit. And yeah, like we needed someone to play bass, and Henry was like, I think I could teach him fast. He's a fast learner, And so we asked him, like, he was like 7, still in high school and shit. Like, do you want to be in the band, And he was like, yeah. And so that was that. We just like taught him, and like, he was. And I think when Patrick joined the band, it was a big like relief. It was just like a lot of like, because he was excited, I think Henry and I had like, there was so much going on like in our own lives and in the band, that having Patrick's excitement and passion there was like a fresh, like a breath of fresh air,
Sure. And get some new blood into this thing that you guys have been working on, and just re-energized you in a way, huh?
Yeah, because he's a kid, and he's like hella excited about playing 3 shows a day, He's like, fuck, that's so cool, and 2 shows a day, And so I just got along, like, Patrick's like a little brother to me now, He's like my little brother, and yeah, that was how we did it. So his first or second show was like in Texas. Cause we were gonna play something in like South by some like unofficial South by Southwest at this place called the Love Goat. So we he was nervous, and we fucking like, I think Henry is that one with us. So he just like, we went to Texas, to Austin, like played the show, and came back home or some shit like that. Yeah, but that was like Patrick's like, that's like your second show. But that just showed us that I was like,
going, hey, you gotta come with us to Texas to do this show.
Yeah, like a 17, 16, and yeah, like, but we were like, that's so fucking cool. Like, there was no like, he was nervous, but he wasn't hesitant. He was like, fuck yeah, I'm down, And we were like, that's fucking cool. That's like us being Henry, that like when an opportunity like this comes, like you don't like, you could be nervous or scared, but you don't shut it down. You go for it, So we saw that in Patrick. And we're like, this is cool. Like he's also like a passionate and excited about doing music as a living. I think Henry and I have like always had dreams. That I feel like other people around us, like in our city of El Monte, didn't have. Like I never met somebody that had a big dream. Maybe it's like our culture here, like being like people here, like the city, but I feel like, especially being a musician, just gets shut down, by families here of our Mexican culture, like just different things, like how's that gonna make money? Like, are you serious? Like, it's not a real job, kind of thing. But Henry's family and my family always encouraged us, to, and that's cool. You want to do music? That's cool. Like what do you need? Like, I can, whatever I can do. Like, my dad would take me to Sam Ash, like to get like shit. He would drive me, and Henry's dad would do the same for him. And So we are I think it started with our parents and our families being very encouraging, very supportive of these dreams that I feel like a lot of other parents and families weren't as encouraging or supportive of, you know? And that kind of sucks to the kid. Because, you know, like your parents tell you, your friends tell you, you kind of believe it. You're like, that's kind of a lame dream to have. I want to be a musician. That's kind of dumb. Let me go work, you know? Let me get some like real money. Or let me go to something more stable, you know? But I feel like I think what's important is that you're happy, you know? Even if the money isn't good, I'm like, I could play music and have like a side job. I'll be fucking happy as fuck. You know, just to play music, like I'll be so fucking happy. You know, just to be able to express myself and go tour and you know, I'm like, I don't think we need to be rich or need like fancy things. I'm like, just give us the music, you know? That's how Henry and I have always felt. You know, like just let us do music, you know, everything else is like whatever, just like let us do music. And yeah, man, Patrick's family is the same way. His parents are also very supportive, you know, very, very encouraging, you know. Like they let him like do this, you know, like 16, like yeah, go for it, you know. We needed his parents' permission first. He'd be able to do all these things, you know. Yeah. And like, yeah, I take him, you know, I just take care of him, like yeah. And yeah, you know, so it's just very cool that, you know, like people that this group, this team, like you'll be able to ascend. Maybe Luis now. Like Luis is like Henry's neighbor that was like how they helped out and like he's like another brother now, you know, like playing with us at times and on tour. He helps us out a lot with the merchandise and shit. But just this team, this family that we've like built, you know, like of groups of like just passionate kids from you know from El Monte and the SGV and like that want to do shit, you know, that want something creative with their lives, like whether it's like music or Luis with like his like paintings and his art and his creativity. You know, we're just people that want to create and you know hopefully do it for a living, you know, and help out our families, you know, and help out like people like around us. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Did you feel confident that like, yeah, this band is actually gonna be successful, or like it's actually gonna just go further than I've ever gone in music before?
Honestly, too, like I hoped, you know, like I hoped, I kind of hoped, but I also had that confidence. Like maybe it was like blind ambition too, you know, like I never had a plan B. Like never, like I went to school just to go to school. I was wasting time. I was buying time until the music thing. You know, I was going to fucking school, dude. Like, just to go. Like I was taking classes and like I really like learning, but it's a different story. Maybe I'll tell you the story too. But
lay it on me, man.
Thing. So
this is about stories, dude.
I'll tell you. So this is the story with school and me. So my freshman year of college, I'm in San Francisco State. And I remember I fucking changed so much because I was like, you know, I'm at college and I had like short hair, and I was like, I'm not like doing music anymore. I'm like in college. I'm just fucking like, I'm the fucking green. You didn't grow up, who's it? You know. So I dressed different and like I fucking like was really into school, and had this professor. I made this assignment. I forgot what the assignment was exactly, but my grandma had passed away like 2 years prior to that. So I was like 2 years before that. You know, and I was like the first person I ever had that passed away that was very close to me. And it was the first funeral I'd ever been to. We flew to Mexico, you know, like went to like her waking and her funeral. But this is all new to me, you know, like I've never been to a funeral. I've never seen somebody dead that I know, you know? And so it was a very like and seeing my family. I think that hurt me the most was like seeing like my dad cry. You know, like my dad doesn't cry. You know, I remember I was like he never like I've never you know he's never defeated. I've never seen him be so defeated. You know, when his mom's like passing and my aunt like screaming and fainting. You know, and all this very traumatizing shit. You know, going around. I was like, you know, junior in high school, like 16 or so. So I had the assignment in college, and I write about that. I'm like, I'm fucking crying, you know. I'm like, I have to get this, you know. I've never let this out, you know. And I'm like, you know, like seeing my dad cry was like seeing Superman lose, you know. That's what I felt. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, Superman doesn't lose, you know. Superman doesn't cry, you know. And yeah, just all these things in the paper, you know. I was very like excited and I was like, that's such a good paper, you know, like this is fucking cool. that I could do this in school, like get my emotions and my thoughts out. So then we have like a meeting, like she's like, telling kids, like giving them a one-on-one like counseling on the papers. And so I walk in her office. She's like, Jose, like this, and I really like your paper. It was very personal. Like, yeah, man, I really opened up. And she was like, thank you for doing so, but it wasn't what I was asking for. It wasn't part of like the topic of the essay. So she gave me like a C or something, what it could be. And I took that like very hard, Like that was like, I was like, what the fuck? Like you don't even know like how much like what I had to, like what I went through to get these words on this paper, And it really offended me, I was like, and after that, I was like, school's not for me. Like I can't, like I can't be in a space where I can open up about things and be myself. I can't follow like a fucking curriculum they want me to, So after that, I was like, all right, like I fucking let my hair grow out again. I fucking like started. I changed like drastically. I was like, I started becoming more like I have a passion. I can follow this passion, Like I'm not. It's not at school, It's like in music. Music, I can like cry and be myself, and no one's gonna like tell me that I'm wrong, So, yeah, that was like. Sorry, what was the question, Fly? Forgot. That was the story. I wasn't like. I got confused before.
No, I enjoyed the story. It's very, very, very personal story. Did you feel that?
Oh, confident.
The band was gonna, but did you feel confident that in the band that it was gonna be successful, or just go further than you have been in music before?
So this is why I couldn't. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good.
I was in school wasting time. There you go. So I had to go to class, and I just to buy time because I'm like we need this. This thing takes time. I don't know how long it'll take, but I feel like I don't know how to say it. Just like part of me wants to say that like, yeah, I always knew like this would kind of happen, but like of course you have doubts and you're always like, I don't know, I'm not sure actually, But I think like Henry and I would always talk about those things, like just like visualize playing different places, touring. Touring was a big deal to us, like just to tour for like a month, 2 weeks was a huge deal for us. And but you just didn't know how long it would take, and you kind of thought about like time running out. What if I don't have 5 years? What if I don't have, this much time that it's gonna take? So that maybe we kind of felt like eventually it must, something has to happen eventually. But like, do we have eventually? Do we have that time? Maybe that was the worry. Was like, that I wouldn't try to think about it. I mean, we're just like, I think we'll do 3 shows a day. Because I think for me, I was kind of scared. I was like, this needs to happen like as soon as possible. So maybe if we play more shows, it'll happen faster or something. Something like that. And I think like I remember I think when we kind of took like I remember like playing house shows and people singing along, and that was the first like instance of us being like, dude, did you hear someone? Like, yeah, I heard them sing along. Like, no fucking way, that's fucking cool. Like, never, that must mean like a lot. Like that's like crazy. Like for them to sing along to something. Because I'm like, because I'd always like think about it as like how I would feel. Like for me to go to a show, for me to like buy a shirt, for me to sing along to a song, like that has to be very meaningful to me. Like I know the meaning that it has to me. Like I don't just sing along to every song. I don't just go to any show. I don't just buy any. To me, I'm very picky and very personal with what I like. And I'm just like, well, like if they like us, then maybe they feel the same way that I would feel about something that I like. Like this freaking like close passion and intense passion for that art, for that whatever. And I'm like, well, that must mean something. At the very least. I mean, that's very nice that people can connect. Because I remember also too, like a fear that I personally had was like, just not being good enough. Before you put our first show, it's just like, what if our music like this isn't good? What if everyone sounds this way? What if this already been done a million times? What if it doesn't get us anywhere? But then I was like, well, like at least we're being ourselves. Like I'd rather fail with us being ourselves than fail at being something we're not. So like fuck it, like we're gonna be us. And if it fails, it fails. But like I'd rather have us fail being us than being trying to be something we're not, you know. And I feel like I saw that, you know, us being us, just been, oh shit, like it's a good thing we're us, you know, because this is like with the working out and it's going well, us being us, you know. So, yeah, but yeah, I think there was always doubt, you know, in the back of your mind, in case. But I think you try to stay very positive and very like you try to visualize it and you hope and you work as hard as you can and whatever it takes to do that, you know. And then slowly but surely, you know, the house shows and the houses got a little bigger. More people started going and people were singing along. People going, you know, just all these things started kind of like slowly but surely. Then like the smell, playing at the smell, like meeting Jim, him being like super nice and giving us the opportunity to play at a venue now, not just a house anymore. And I think just slowly like elevating. But I think it was always something I think about often, dude. So fucking, it was us and making those pushes. Like no one invited us to things really. Like, you know, there's a house, there's a party going on in the house, and you want to be a part of that party, but no one fucking invited you to the party. You know, no one might even want you there at the party, but you really want to be in this party. You know, so now you're just trying to find a way in. You know, you try to like a window, maybe a door's unlocked. You know, maybe like or whatever. Like worst case, you're gonna have to fucking bring the door down and fucking like just crash the door and walk in. You know, so that's how we always felt, was that we like we have to find a way to get in because no one wants us here. No one's gonna invite us. You know, for whatever reason, you know, maybe just us in our heads feeling it that way, feeling very outside. Because when we go play like house shows, everybody was like Inland Empire, you know, and this, and we're like from El Monte, you know, like we're not. There's no shows here, you know. There's like ska and punk here. There's no like indie rock going on here, so we had to go elsewhere. So we're always like outsiders, you know, always outsiders. And you just have that feeling of like no one wants us here, so, but we want to do this. And so we'd always like message people like, hey, you know, like, this shit too. We'd ask to open shows, right? Like whatever, like we'll crew with opening. And sometimes there'd be like a deal, kind of like, if we have a PA, you know, because we have like a PA that we rehearse with, like you could use it, you know, and if you know, if you let us play or something, some kind of shit like that, some kind of like, we have a PA if you need it, you know. So they'll often get us on the show, you know, like fuck you, like, you know, they be like let that band open, that's the PA, like whatever, you know. So we bring everything at like 4 or 5 p.m. like whatever, like drive traffic and any driving, you know, and unload the PA, set it up, whatever, play something, and then like we just wait for the show to end to get the PA back and stuff. So I was able to try to get some shows, you know, like bringing our PA because they weren't gonna let us play just us. We had to like bring something along with us that could help them out, you know.
Sure.
So, yeah. So yeah, just doing what you can, you know, and also like the smell, just going asking around, like, how can I play this? This is I want to do this. I want to play here. How do I do it? Asking around, like, hey, like, you know, sometimes like wearing a disguise, you know, like a hat, like, oh, I'm like a agent right now, you know, like, you know, kind of put on that, like, hey, you know, I know a band, this and this, you know, how can a band, you know? Because I remember people going up to Jim and just being like, hey, how can my band play here, you know? And he would tell them, and he'd be like, all right, cool. I just walk out of the fucking venue, you know? I'm like, that's kind of rude, you know? Like, I don't think that's like the way to go. Maybe if I ask, like, you know, like I have like a friend, you know, or like, how can a band play here, you know? Just a band in general, not me per se, just you know, a band, you know. And I always felt like that the conversation would go a lot smoother because I didn't come off as like, hey, like, what can you do?
Yeah, like, hey, I want something. You're like, hey, just a curiosity.
Yeah. I'm just curious, fucking like, yeah, I'm just curious. Like, how does a band, you know, play here? Like, I want to, you know. So I would kind of have to like play that, like, you know, that like role of like, I'm not a band member right now. I'm just like a guy that's curious, you know. It's like, it's not about me. I just want to know, you know, like. So then we would also like organize shows, you know, like the Smell. We organize a show and just put us on there, you know. And that's how we would do it. And that came to like the Echo afterwards. Like the Echo was like asking the same thing, like, how does the band play? You know, get to this and this, get to this person, like doing the emails and shit, just bugging people, you know, like, hey, you know, like I'm just curious. I have a question, you know. I would like an answer to this question, and then like sooner or later, like having the opportunity to like, organize something, like, cool, and just put like the bands, like, you know, this would be a good lineup and putting us So we were like organizing our own shows, really, you know, like asking as a promoter. We were like promoter slash agent slash, you know, we were doing everything. Like really, we weren't just staying put as a band and being like, so who's gonna come help us kind of thing, you know? We're just kind of sitting back and being like, well, maybe this venue will hit us up eventually. You know, I think Henry and I were always like, fuck that, like we need to like go like now, you know, like we're not gonna wait for so and so to like to let us in. We're gonna walk, we're gonna barge in, you know?
Sure.
And I feel like a lot of people make the mistake, maybe just in life in general, where you're just kind of waiting for things to happen, you know? And sometimes things do happen. Sometimes you get that call, and you're like, oh shit, like, I got lucky and I got a call, and you're fucking set. But there's times where like you're just waiting, a year goes by, like they'll get to me eventually. 2 years go by, and you're like, haven't heard from them yet, you know? And I just didn't like that for us. And in general, I'm not a person that's like that, you know? So I was like, fuck that, like, we're gonna go in and ask, you know, like how we could do this, you know? We're not just gonna wait for someone to give us the chance, you know, but to go create our own luck and our own chances, you know, because you just felt like no one was gonna like ever see you, like no one was ever gonna pay two fucking brown kids from El Monte that play like indie rock music, anything. That's just how we felt, you know, like nobody really cares what we have to say or do, you know, but me and Henry do, you know, we fucking do. So we just like always have that mentality of like we have to like make things happen, you know, because no one might ever like do that for us. It's not to be us to do this for us, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you look at the audience now of like a packed, you know, like a packed show or something like that, and they know every lyric to a really old song, how does that make you feel now?
It makes you cry. It makes me like really like, you know, it's very like it's been a lot, and I feel like we're not done. Like, I don't think Henry and I and Luis and Patrick and all of us are like done. You know, we're still, you know, we want to do as much as we can while we still can. You know, there's still a lot of things to do, a lot of visions and dreams to make reality. But we've come a long way. You know, like, honestly, like there's times where I'm sitting down and I'm like, I fucking won. I'm done. I'm done with my life. You know, I'm fucking like I don't work. I don't go to school. I just fucking do music, you know? That's it. That's my life, you know? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, that's fucking crazy, you know? Like, as a 15-year-old thinking that, like Jose, like one day, like, you'll be good at it. Maybe not right now. Maybe, like, give it, like, some years. Give it some time. Try really hard, Jose, and, like, maybe something will happen, you know? And just, like, looking back and be like, fuck, like, I was right. Me as a kid trying to encourage myself, just being, like, I gave myself that time and that patience, you know, like I've never been so patient and passionate about anything, you know? Like nothing. Like this was one thing that I knew. I was like, "Fuck, like we're gonna suck for we're gonna suck for a while. Like I'm not gonna be a good drummer, and we're not gonna be a good band, but like we'll get there eventually, you know. Like if we make the progress, and you know, I'm just really happy that Henry and I stuck with it, and to all the people, dude, the fucking people, you know, like I think it's all. I mean, if it wasn't for the people, it wouldn't be anything. I think Henry and I always try our best to like just let people know how thankful and appreciative we are of them. You know, because I think we just like our parents crossed over from a different country. You know, they didn't have to do that, but they did. You know, for their children, for us to have like a different reality than they did that for us, risk your life. You know, and now we're born. Now we have all these opportunities they didn't have, you know? And we're like, fucking doing music. So we're doing music, you know? My parents are like, yeah, go do music. What do you need? And good, you know, we're working hard and this, sacrificing. And, you know, our parents are like worried about us, you know? But they're like, well, but, you know, like let them do what they want to do. And our parents, I'm sure, are very scared, you know? More so than, or less than before. I think at first they were really like, you know, like scared, you know, just like, you don't want to see your kid fail, you know? And end up with nothing, you know. But Henry and I went all out with things, and I think our music, we're just honest, you know. We're very, very honest, very blunt people in general. Henry and I, very honest and blunt, and we just, you know, open our emotions up, and with our music, you know, we're just very real, and maybe people see that, you know. I don't really know, but I think we just should just continue to be us and do our thing, and I hope that things turn out well. You know, and that's all we could do. Just be ourselves and work hard. You know?
Sure.
I don't think nothing is really promised or for sure. I think that's all we could do.
Yeah. What is the most difficult part of making music for you?
I think it might be the starting process. You know, just like getting yourself up or getting yourself to start. You know, it's interesting, dude. I feel like now that we have more time for music, I feel like it's a bit harder, if that makes sense. Because you just have too much time sometimes, you know? Like, I kind of miss playing 4 shows a week, 2 shows a day, because you're just fucking going at it, you know? Like, you feel like you have to. And now that you have some, like, a tour, space for tour and space for your show, there's just so much to do in life, you know? Like, you can kind of, like, get distracted and stuff. I feel like I kind of realized how that happens for, like, bigger celebrities or bigger, like, names. They have so much time in there. You know, people you see like fucking like blow up to the top, right to the top, and they fucking fall apart somehow. And this is what happens. You know, like you just have too much time, and maybe you have too many bad influences around you, or you're too successful or some shit, and you just make wrong decisions and you just fall. You just fall. You know,
sure.
And that's why it happens. You know, people getting into like drugs and getting into like bad environments, you know, like this is how it happens. You know, you just have too much time on your hands that, you know, like this thing, the music, like you can't do it right now. You know, like you can't play shows right now. You know, so you're trying to fill that like love with something else, and you find it in the wrong places. You know, so I think that's something I realized big time. Like this is how it fucking happens. This is how people like they shoot to the top and like fall right down. You know, it's just like you need to be very careful. I think of like your time and your mentality. Make sure you're always like you know, you're always like locked in, or not locked in, but just always like have your head on your shoulders. You know, you're fucking around too much or something, or you're not getting into bad habits. You know, because you have time to fuck everything up. You know, if you want to. You know, so I think that's a little scary, but I think we have like good support here. Our families, each other. You know, Henry's like down the street over there. You know, he came by earlier with his mom. You know, like it's just like, you know, like we still keep in contact, and I think we know how much this means for ourselves and for our others. You know, I know how much this means to Henry. You know, like letting myself down is also letting Henry down. You know?
Sure.
And I don't think, and I wouldn't like that. I mean, maybe letting myself down is like okay, but letting Henry down is like a different story. Yeah.
Somebody else is on the table. Yeah. You gotta work around that.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sure. What is the most rewarding part of making music for you?
I think maybe the art, just the art itself. You know, just creating something that's gonna live forever. You know, that's gonna outlive you. And that's like the craziest thing to me. It's like you're leaving this like legacy behind you. Like once I'm dead, these songs are never gonna die. Yeah. And I think that's like the coolest part about it, you know, is that you're gonna leave something behind in this world, you know, and that, you know, like the music that I love and the music that I hold so dearly to my heart has like really helped me and my life out. You know, like these bands and these artists and these songs like are like a soundtrack to my life, and like I don't know what I would do if it wasn't for those songs and artists, you know. And I just feel like I think Henry and I, like our goals have always been like just to give that feeling to somebody else. Like what the Strokes are to us, what like Arctic Monkeys are to us, what like Black Sabbath is to Henry, what like Roy Orbison is, you know, like all these like music that Henry and I hold so close. Just being able to give somebody that feel, maybe like a song of ours that people hold in that matter, you know. I think that's like the biggest like accomplishment is like having like a piece of art that someone's gonna hold like close to their heart for the rest of their life. You know, I think that's like the biggest reward.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very big.
Know? But there's no like formula to that. You know, there's no. I don't know how to fucking do that. You know, there's no formula to do that. So you just kind of like do what you think is best. You know, just you be yourself, and what happens. You know, but I think. But like knowing that, having someone tell us that, like your music means a lot to me. meeting you has been like a great privilege, and this and this. And we're just like, shit, like it's so cool that people are holding this art of ours that we've created like to their heart for life, maybe, and that's like, it's a big deal to us,
Absolutely. Jose, I really appreciate you sitting down with me, man. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Really.
Thank you so much.
But before I cut you loose here, there's some promo I gotta get through here. So okay. Red Pears music streaming everywhere, wherever you like to listen to music, that's where they are. The people can go support you directly through the Bandcamp. Is it the best place, right?
Anyway, at Bandcamp, Spotify, yeah.
Bandcamp, Spotify, and the Bandcamp is the Red Pears 3.bandcamp.com. That's where you can go and you can find the merch when you guys re-up on the merch. You guys are all sold out. That's awesome. That's really cool.
All these things are big deals. Like having your own website is like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like just these little steps you make in your thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's the redpearsmusic.com, right? I believe it is.
Just the redpears.com.
Oh, the redpears.com. All right. Well,
yeah.
Fuck me then, Jose. I got it wrong. All right, dude. No, but be sure to go check that out. Theredpears.com. The people can stay up to date with news and new music and all that good stuff and tours and whatnot at on Instagram, right? That's the best place.
Yeah, like Instagram or the website. Yeah, we'll have like updates, things. Yeah.
Good deal. And the Instagram is at @red_pears. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Jose, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Did we miss anything? Did we gotta plug anything else?
Not that I know. No, it's all right.
All right, Jose. I'm gonna stop recording this. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.